Hey Helpa, my name is Brandon. I'm a registered nurse. I have a diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder level 1 and I am now living in Sweden. I've been in Sweden for about 4 months. I wanted to do a follow-up video on my last video about paying for things in Sweden. Perhaps if you've seen that, you could tell that I was a bit frustrated when I made it, despite the fact that I was really trying hard to compartmentalize my frustration. The video got a lot of interesting comments and I really do appreciate all the feedback. So I wanted to do a little bit of a follow-up on that and let you guys know kind of where I'm at in the process. Apologize ahead of time for the fact that it's a little bit dark right now. I'm probably not going to do a lot of editing on this video just for the fact that I'm going out of town tomorrow. I'm going back to the United States for a 2-week vacation, much needed mental health break from school. And it's now really dark. Yesterday was actually the darkest day of the year. It was December 21st. So I have very little bit of time to use the natural light to take advantage of it. So apologize for that in advance. I got a lot of real good feedback. I actually ended up making friends with someone that lives here in my town of Helsingborg. He is a Swedish person. His name's Frederick, and I really do appreciate all the help that he's given me. He's been working so hard trying to help me navigate this process of getting a number, a tax identification number, so that I can get a lot of other benefits that come along with being here in Sweden. Such as if you want to set up an account at IKEA, you need to have this particular number. If you want to get a bank account, it's much easier if you have this number. And I wanted to follow up on some of the comments that I've gotten. So most of the comments were pretty positive. I think there was a lot of information that people were responding to and sharing me a lot of their personal experiences of how when they went to other countries they experienced similar issues. So I think that was a good experience for me on this journey, is to hear other people's stories of when they moved to other countries. So I heard that people that had gone to America, where I come from, had had similar problems when they went there from Sweden. And so what that tells me is, you know, I've never moved to another country before. This is the first time I've ever lived abroad. You know, I've traveled all around the world, I've been to 19 countries, and this is the first time I've actually gone somewhere to stay that's not the United States for a long period of time. And so this tells me that, you know, just be ready when you move to another country for a bit of frustration and to really be challenged to maintain calmness and just really be ready to advocate for yourself. You've got to network, you've got to meet people, because the people in the community, those relationships you make with people are going to be really important to help you navigate. Because, you know, I had people make comments like, and I'm not going to repeat some of the words some of the people said, I'm going to try to keep it clean on my videos, but basically calling me out, trying to say that I was making this up. But what I was sharing was my personal experience. I was trying to show you through my lens of what it's like for me to navigate the system. Yeah, maybe there's systems in place. Come to find out, yes, you are right. Those of you that make comments saying things like, you can get a temporary number and you can get a bank account. And that's all well and good, but when it comes down to reality of life, when you're someone like myself who's not Swedish and not from the European Union and you move here, it's not quite that clear cut. And what I and my friend Frederick have found out is you get a mixed bag of responses from the people that are supposed to be the subject matter experts in those fields. So we've been working on this together for a couple months now. And he's a native Swede, he speaks Swedish, and he has found too that when you talk to people at the bank or when you talk to people at Skatteverket, you're going to get different responses from different people, despite going on the website and seeing that it says a certain thing. I found that I had a bit of opposition. You know, when I would talk to them, they'd say, well, why don't you just wait till you get a person number? And I'm like, well, I don't know when I'm going to get a person number, the Swedish version of basically, like in America, we have the social security number, because I can't get one if I don't have a visa for 13 months or longer, or if I'm not in a relationship with someone here, or am sponsored to work here by a big company. So I was able this week finally to get the Samordningsnummer, and I'm so excited about that. But I really had to fight for it, and thank you, Frederick, so much for helping me with that process. It was pretty painful, but I've got it now. The next process I'm working on is getting a bank account. And technically, yes, it is true. You can get a bank account without a Samordningsnummer, but in our communications with the people at the banks, they really don't want to do it. So yes, those processes exist. It really depends on who it is that you're talking to. I also want to follow up a little bit about the cash situation. It was kind of funny because I had some people, they're like, oh, you know, what you're saying is not right. You know, they were calling me out about saying that you can't use cash. But if you go back and listen to the video, you'll see I didn't say you can't use cash at all. There are some places that you can, but people really don't like to use cash here because it is unsafe. So I live in Helsingborg. It might be different in different cities. And that's another thing I'm learning is things are very localized. So a lot of the negative responses I was getting was people that lived in the center of Sweden or maybe in Stockholm area or farther up north. But here in the Skåne region, this is my life. So yeah, things are different here. We do have, I don't want to paint a bad picture of Sweden. I think it's a very safe country here, but the crime rates are higher here in my area. And so there has been more issues with theft. When one gentleman was saying, oh, that's not true. You know, there's lots of stores you can go use cash. You don't have to use a card. Because of my video, I was saying that pretty much it's a cashless society here. So what I did was I went down the main street in my city and I went into a bunch of different stores and just asked them, hey, I'm doing research for my YouTube video. And I've been told that y'all, you know, that it's normal to take cash, that's not really too big of an issue here. And they're like, oh, we haven't taken cash in years. I'm like, and why is that? Oh, because we were robbed back in blah, blah, blah. We don't have very many ATM machines here either. The few that we have, I have to go, like, there's none in my part of town. And so like I have to take the bus and go into town, and it's very uncomfortable because now I'm being told it's not safe to carry cash here, and then I'm noticing people are just standing around watching you take cash out of the ATM, which makes me really nervous. So I really needed to be able to make cashless payments. And the issue I was running into last time I talked to you guys was the fact that my cards were not working very well in the grocery stores. And so, you know, here they use the wireless pay method, and sometimes too, like for example, my barber, he uses Swish to pay, you know, to pay for his services, but I can't get Swish if I don't have a bank account. And the banks are very reluctant to give me a bank account if I had no identification number. So it's kind of been an uphill battle, but I'm getting there, and I'll keep updating you guys as this process goes on. Once I've completely navigated and gotten to my end destination of having a bank account and being able to get a card that I can do wireless pay with very easily, I'm going to let everybody know about that because I think it's very valuable information for anyone who's planning on coming here to study here or start a new life here, especially if you're coming from outside the European Union. I was going to give you a quick update on my Revolut card. It didn't work. I started reading through the reviews on Revolut, and I found out that other people were having similar issues with the Revolut card. So what happened to me was I paid the extra money for the, I guess the gold version, if you will. I think it's called like Revolut Metal or something like that. And they actually mailed me a really cool card. I did get to use it for 3 or 4 different payments. I put money on there, I think 2 occasions, and after that I was no longer able to add more money. I tried putting money on that card. It's like a prepaid credit card with a wireless pay feature. I tried putting money on there through my Wells Fargo bank account, my Chase Bank credit card I tried, and Apple Pay, and none of them would work anymore. And what ended up happening was I called Revolut, and they said, because it said it was related to 3D authentication, I think, and the Revolut people, communication with them is very difficult to get a hold of anyone there. So the easiest way for me to do it was chatting, and I had very long delays, like 15 minutes between answers. So that was a bit frustrating. And I ended up having to call my bank because Revolut said, well, we can't do anything on our end. It has to do with your bank. It has to give the authorization or something. So I called my bank and they said, no, we've had multiple phone calls about this from other people. We can't do anything until Revolut calls us. So it was like neither of them would do anything and they just kept passing the buck. So I ended up talking to the people at Revolut and telling them, hey, y'all are charging me for this special metal version of your account and I can't even put money in the thing. I can't even use the card. It's completely worthless to me. So they were really nice. They ended up refunding me all the money and they canceled my metal card. And so I still have a virtual card, but it doesn't do me any good because I can't use it. So it's worked for some people. I have some friends from Iraq that are studying Swedish with me at school and they're able to use the card. But for me as an American, for some reason, it's just not working with my banks. And after spending several hours over multiple days, that's what we all just decided was it's best just to cancel the Revolut account. I called my Chase Bank about the credit card issue of having a problem with the wireless feature not working. So they sent me a new card. In my last video I said that I was told that it's illegal to sign your receipts now. You know, when you go pay for things, sometimes like in America, it'll print off a receipt. That has been interesting because I heard that one time when I made a purchase and they were saying that there was some new law that changed in the European Union and you can't sign a receipt, that you have to use the wireless pay or have a PIN. But the machine won't prompt me for a PIN, so I can't put in a PIN if the machine doesn't do that. It automatically prompts you to sign. The weird thing is there's no science to it. You know, some machines, I went to ICA last night and it printed out a receipt for me to sign and she had to look at my passport. I have a classmate from Australia and he's like, I can't figure it out. Why do you got to carry all that stuff with you? You know, your passport and your visa and all that stuff. I said, because they want to see it when I pay for things, but it's not every time. That's what's weird. It's like some machines I can use the wireless method and there's no issues, and then sometimes they want me to sign for it. I had that one time that the guy said that we don't take signed receipts, you have to figure out how to get the money another way. And then other places, they don't know anything about it. So it goes back to what I said in the beginning. There are systems in place here in Sweden, but it really depends on who you talk to. You get a mixed bag of responses. So I'm not quite as frustrated now because I have support from a local here in Sweden and I'm so grateful to him. Can't thank him enough. But yeah, just be ready. You know, when you move to another country, whether it's Sweden or Poland or you're moving to the United States, it's just something you're just gonna have to be prepared for, is that even though systems are in place, it's not cut and dry and it can be very complicated. And you just got to be patient and you got to make friends and keep your cool. That's all I can say about that. So I'm going to Texas tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that much needed vacation. I will try to start working on some of my other footage I have from some of the things I've been doing over the last few weeks here in Sweden. And once those are ready, I will post those. So thanks so much. It was more just for informational purposes. I'm not a subject matter expert in this. I just wanted to share and journal my personal experience for you guys' benefit. So thank you so much. Feel free to like, subscribe if you want to see more content. You know, if you have questions, leave them in the comment section. I'm pretty good about being able to respond. So thank you so much for your support and you'll have a wonderful day. Take care.